In this video, I'll explain what I think is the difference between just doing activities and being productive. And who's this video for? This video is intention for those of you who want to start a business or are starting a business, but maybe you're not getting the results you want. And so you want to reconsider, are you actually working on the right things? So who am I? My name is David Michelson. I spent 5 years in business school wanting to start a business, not feeling like I learned anything about starting a business. So I finally committed to just getting started, and I've made it my mission to make entrepreneurship available to everyone. I know it's a lofty goal, but I do believe that in the next couple of decades, I can get there for sure. And so these concepts that I'm about to talk about are things that I work on a daily basis and use with the people I work with. For me to talk about the difference between activity and productivity, we need to understand what these concepts mean. Activity, I define as doing any kind of action input. It is essentially a decision that you execute by doing some kind of action. You know, an action could be scripting a video. Another action could be recording the video. Then an action could be editing the video. And so activities are just action inputs. Now, productivity, and the difference between activity and productivity is that for an activity to be considered productive, it needs to directly influence your number one priority with where you're at for your business or your personal goal right now. So activities are just any kind of action, but productivity are action inputs that directly feed into realizing your goals or your number one priority or whatever thing you're trying to make come true. And so to give you an example, you know, the clients I work with are all trying to start businesses or make their businesses work. And you might be an aspiring entrepreneur. And so an example could be, if I wanted to start a business, then there are a ton of things that I could spend my time and my energy and my resources doing. You know, I could work on starting a website. I could populate that website with a bunch of different things. I could start a social media account and start posting content. I could work on accounting and budgeting and a business plan, or I could do outreach, or I could work on my offer. There's so many different things that I could work on that would somehow feed into the whole purpose and objective of starting a business. But when we say starting a business, what we really have in mind is exchanging some kind of product or service for money, which means the objective when we say starting a business is to be profitable. And how are we profitable? When we make that exchange or that transaction of product or service for said money or other kinds of services or goods, of course. But that means that some action inputs are more or less likely to influence whether or not we make those transactions. And thus being productive or focusing on productivity is choosing to execute action inputs that directly enables making those transactions. To keep it completely simple, you know, you could say starting and working on a website is likely to influence whether or not you can make those transactions, meaning whether or not you can sell your product or your service. In the beginning, if nobody knows who you are, you likely aren't going to have any traffic to that website. And so a website doesn't really matter in that context. The same could be said for budgeting or accounting or business planning. Of course, in the big picture, these things are helpful and probably should be given some time at some point. But right now, when we're just trying to be profitable and to test our product and our service, what we need to do is to get people to try our thing. And the only way we can get people to try our thing is to reach out to them in some way or in some capacity. If we follow Hormozi's $100 million leads, then there are 4 ways we can do that ourselves. It could be organic content, it could be paid advertisements, or it could be one-on-one reach outs, either cold or warm to people who we know. And so if my goal and objective is to be profitable, and before that for me to test my product and my service and to see if I know what I'm doing, then I need to do outreaches or post content or run advertisements. And so if that is my situation, then I should be spending as much of my time as possible on doing those outreaches, either warm or cold, in order to have people test my product or my service and to get feedback on it and to serve it to them and to get the testimonials, the reviews, so that I'll be able to get paid in the soon future. That is the quickest way for me to reach that profitability stage. But all the other tasks for the place that I am right now may not be the best use of my time. And therefore, we need to make sure that we're working on the right things at the right time every day. And how can you do that? Well, 2 questions that partially are inspired by Hormozi that I like to ask myself is, one, am I solving the right problem? But two, in wanting to solve that problem, the action inputs that I imagine doing, are they the most relevant or best use of my time to solve that problem or to get that outcome? You know, if it's making money, then maybe making the website is not the best thing right now. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. Maybe it is doing the outreaches. And so for you, either if you want to start a business, or if you are in the process of starting it, or if you're in the process of growing it, look at the situation you're at. Ask yourself, whenever you're about to get started on a new task or get started on a new block of work time, what problem am I actually solving right now? One, is it the right problem? Is this where I should be spending my time in solving this thing, this problem, this issue? But two, what is the right inputs that I need to do to solve that problem? This will more likely than not help you make progress and progress faster. And doing these and asking yourself these questions, making these revisions on an ongoing basis is also just more important if you have limited resources. Meaning that if you are low on capital, then trying to run paid ads is probably not the best use of your time and your cash. Trust me, I've tried to do that and not really gotten any results from that. I learned that the hard way. But on the other hand, I might have a bunch of time that I can use to reach out to people. And truth be told, I have done that. And that has been very successful for me. So for you, look at the situation that you're at. Is speed the most important thing? Is quality the most important thing? What is your prioritization? What is the problem that you want to solve? Where do you want to get to? And what actions will get you there the fastest in the right and best way possible for you? So I hope you can use this video to either just to reach your goals or otherwise to reach them even faster. Let me know in the comments if you think I missed anything important on these points or these concepts. As always, thank you for watching and stay disciplined.